Hey guys, hello friends, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all doing very well. I hope you're all having a nice weekend. I myself was having a very busy weekend. I filmed a couple of videos yesterday, one diving into the Paris Olympics and the opening ceremony, which I was excited to drop later today, and then another one, of course, reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. So like, I've already had my hands full. Like, I already have a very packed slate on deck for this weekend. And so the last thing that I needed, from Kevin freaking Feige was this, because I don't know if you've heard, although the title has probably revealed it to you if you haven't, but Kevin Feige dropped some huge gargantuan news yesterday coming out of Hall H in Comic-Con, and like, we need to discuss. So I have cleared my slate. All of that editing can wait, because right here, right now, we need to talk about the return of Robert Downey Jr. into the MCU. But don't be fooled, because he will not be returning in the signature Iron Man red and gold, because instead he will be donning green, a dark emerald green that symbolizes who? Not Loki, not the Hulk, but rather Doom. Yes, RDJ revealed yesterday in Hall H that he is going to be playing Doom in the next Avengers movie. So today I'm going to be diving into my reaction to this news that dropped in the middle of the British night. Literally, I think it dropped at like 5 a.m. here in the UK, so actually early morning, and I was dead to the world. I was well asleep and I woke up to this news, and you can see that I'm buzzing. You can see that I have the energy of 1,000 toddlers, because so much is going on through my mind right now. If you guys want to discuss with me, then stay tuned. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think down in the comments below. Without further ado, guys, let's discuss. So yeah, RDJ is back, but not as Iron Man. Instead, he's going to be playing Doctor Doom. Now, before we dive into my thoughts on this reveal and what it means for the MCU, I just want to take a moment to commiserate for the Kang fans. Oh yes, Kang is pretty much officially dead in the MCU, which kind of throws the multiverse saga into turmoil, at least from what it seems like on the face of it. But there are some things that the MCU could be up to that could still play into the multiverse saga, which we'll discuss in a second. But yeah, for any of you guys who are huge fans of Jonathan Majors as Kang, ooh, ooh, sorry about it. I myself was really excited about the character of Kang when he was first revealed. I was also excited about Jonathan Majors' entry into the MCU, but alas, all sorts of nonsense have happened since, and I can't stand by this actor anymore. Many other people can't either, and so something needed to be done. So I'm not surprised that Jonathan Majors was completely out from the franchise, but I am somewhat surprised that they have decided to abandon the idea of Kang altogether. I know some people have been saying that the character hasn't really been working as a big bad for the multiverse saga, but I have mixed feelings on this, because on the one hand, it is true that he didn't quite have the same entry and presence as, say, a Thanos or even a Loki. But on the other hand, I think the main disadvantage that this character faced was the fact that the first movie that he was introduced in, Ant-Man Quantumania, was one of the worst films that the MCU has ever produced. And I don't necessarily think that's Kang's fault or even Jonathan Majors' fault. I think that's the fault of Peyton Reed, who for some inexplicable reason was given 3 Ant-Man movies despite producing 2 mediocre ones. So yeah, it's a kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Kang. I would have liked to see a variant of the character appear in a future film if they were going to proceed with Kang Dynasty, which was set to be the 5th Avengers movie originally. But it seems that they've thrown all of that into the trash, into the garbage, and gone down a completely different route. And so yeah, a moment of silence for Kang. Ah, yeah, Kang is gone. Kang is dead. And honestly, I still to this day cannot believe that Jonathan Majors fumbled such a gargantuan bag. Like, in the most horrific way. I mean, it's not even funny because the allegations against him were so horrific, but I just laugh because this is someone that had the opportunity to make history, to do something incredible in the biggest franchise of all time, and he just fumbled. Like, all he had to do was be a decent human being. That's literally all he had to do, and he completely fumbled the bag. What an embarrassment. And you see how this black man was immediately replaced by this old white dude. You see how that happened immediately. So yeah, Marvel wasn't playing around. Hollywood is never playing around. And I hope some other actors out there watching this take place take notes, because all you need to do is be a decent, kind, considerate human being who doesn't lash out on others. That's literally bare minimum behavior, and you have the opportunity to, you know, have success, to be someone who makes a difference and an impact in the industry. But alas, that seems to completely evade some people, and so now here we are. Now, in terms of the MCU ditching the idea of Kang being the big bad, like I said, I have mixed feelings because I think the character still had potential, and I think the worst parts of the character came from Quantumania, which was just a bad film. But I did say in my review of Loki season 2 that that season kind of wrapped up the storyline with Kang pretty well, and so they can actually get away with just moving away from the character overall. I think when you combine the storylines from Loki seasons 1 and 2 as well as Quantumania, I do think it's enough. Like, the character had its time to shine, and now we can kind of move on, especially considering the fact that even though I saw potential in the character and I was excited to see what was to come, I never really felt like he was the best thing since sliced bread. Like, I didn't think he was incredible. I didn't think he was amazing. I thought he was really good, but alas, they never really took advantage of what Kang could be in the MCU. And so yeah, I feel like the failure of Quantumania and the mixed response to Loki season 2, alongside the other disappointments that the MCU has been facing, has kind of led them to this decision. And so now let's dive into the decision itself to have RDJ return to the MCU. Starting off from the MCU perspective, I will be honest, and for those of you who are new around here, hi, I'm Jean, and I am a huge Marvel fan. Do not get it twisted, please, 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 please. I am a huge Marvel fan, okay? I've made many videos talking about Marvel and reviewing Marvel films. I am a huge fan of this franchise and have been for over 10 years. But one thing that I'm not going to do is lie to you guys on this channel. And so hear me when I say that I think that this decision is a bit desperate. Oh, it's a bit desperate. It's kind of giving they're pushing the red button, like they're pushing the button that controls the nuclear codes, okay? The nuclear codes have been activated. Now, me and my brother have always had this ongoing joke, like across phases 4 and 5 of the MCU, where if the going really got tough, they could always press the red button, and the red button was RDJ. The red button was the original Avengers, and lo and behold, here comes Kevin Feige telling the world that he has officially pressed the red button. He blinked, guys. He saw a couple of fumbles across phases 4 and 5, and he blinked right away. And I'm not surprised, because that seems to be the ongoing theme across not just Marvel Studios, but Disney overall. I mean, their animated studios are pushing out sequels left, right, and center, and it's shown to have worked, because Inside Out 2 just became the highest grossing animated film of all time. So clearly the message over there is just stick to what works, stick to the formulas that have worked for us before, especially in the 20-teens era where they were making so much money. And so that seems to have come across to Marvel Studios as well, and now Kevin Feige is just going back to the basics, including him rehiring the Russo brothers to direct Avengers 5. So yeah, a part of me feels like this is a plea, a desperate plea for success after fumbling along phases 4 and 5, and it kind of has the stink of desperation, not gonna lie. Like, it's stink. It's a bit smelly, it's a bit, ooh, what's that smell? It's desperation. It's last resort. So listen, on the one hand, considering the fact that people have been crying out, oh, the MCU's dead, it's so Jova, la la la. including myself, by the way. I made several videos talking about the issues that the MCU has been facing in the last couple of years. So considering that, I do understand the decision to go back to the basics and get a surefire hit with the Russo brothers at the helm and RDJ returning, making his huge return to the franchise. I get it, okay, considering everything that's happened. But on the other hand, I do think that it's a bit of a shame that they've wasted this return, because in my opinion, this seems a bit too soon. Like, am I the only one? Like, I feel like this is too soon. I was hoping that maybe they would last for at least 10 years, right? Like, at least a cheeky 10 years, wait it out just a little bit. Although I will say, you know, having thought of it just now, Avengers Endgame came out in 2019, and then Avengers 5 is going to come out in 2026. So like, it would be about what, like 7 years? It's not too far off, but maybe if they could have just waited a little bit longer for this grand return to mean a bit more. But alas, they decided to drop the bomb on us here today in 2024, only 5 years after we saw RDJ in the franchise. And again, it just reeks of desperation, but it's understandable considering where they're at. Like, they are in SOS mode, okay? Bob Iger is breathing down Kevin Feige's neck like, you were supposed to be my show pony. You were supposed to be my surefire hit maker. What the hell is going on? Make it happen. And so Kevin Feige made it happen, and now here we are. So that's from Marvel Studios' perspective. From RDJ's perspective, all I can say is, I told you so. All I can say is, I told you so. It's crazy how often I'm right. Like, it's crazy. It's wild how frequently I am correct. Because did I not say during awards season in my awards coverage that RDJ's awards campaign wasn't sitting right with me? Did I not say that? Those of you who watch, you already know I said this. He was not sitting right with me at all, because I was over it. I was over the narrative that Christopher Nolan saved Robert Downey Jr. Yes, he did. He saved him from the perils of the Marvel contract after he had to slum it in the MCU for 15 years. He gave RDJ the opportunity to do some real actoring. And alas, RDJ emerged victorious, portraying this incredible character that's so different to the usual character that he portrays. And ended up taking home the gold for several awards, mind you. Did I not say I was sick and tired of that narrative and it felt incredibly disingenuous to me? Did I not say that? And now here we are, a mere 7 months later. Not even, I think it's been like 5 months or something since the Oscars, right? A mere few months later, when RDJ is making an appearance in Hall H once again, and instead of being donned in the signature red and gold of Iron Man, he's now wearing green. But he is there willingly. No one is holding a gun to his head. So what happened to the narrative? What happened to the story? For those of you who are always like, oh, the Oscars are about, you know, telling the story of the actor. It's not political. It's not a narrative. Do you see now how you got played? Do you see now? Do you see now how this working actor who deserved a second chance is now back at it again with his bullshit and a massive Marvel paycheck, this time returning as a villain? Like, do you see how it works now? I hope you don't get played next time. I hope you really learned your lesson this time. I tried to tell you, I tried to warn you, but you guys were like, no, Jean, you know, he's been slumming it in the MCU. This is what he deserves. Well, now he has an Oscar and a huge Marvel paycheck. Wow. Well, good on him. Like, he won, honestly. Ultimately, he absolutely won. So yeah, that's number one when it comes to the RDJ of it all. I told you so. I literally told you so. But number two, am I personally excited to see him return in this role? Also, another I told you so. One of my earliest videos on this channel was diving into the good and the bad of Infinity War. And there I mentioned that it kind of annoyed me that Iron Man had become such a huge deal to Thanos during the Infinity War saga. It seemed really disingenuous and wild to me. I think Thanos had a line like, I hope they remember you in your world, or something like that. And I was like, why would Thanos care about Iron Man. It just seemed like it was more of a nod to RDJ and his presence in the MCU than being something that made sense in character and in world. Well, we're back at it again with stroking RDJ's ego, clearly. Clearly, I just find it to be really egotistical. Even the reveal, like, it very much mirrored Tom Hiddleston's kind of low-key moments in Hall H, you know, 10, 15 years ago. But it just didn't have that same, like, genuineness. Like, it just felt like we were all stroking RDJ's ego, and it was just rubbing me the wrong way. I'm so sorry. And yeah, maybe I have a bias against Tony Stark and I'm kind of over it, but yeah, I couldn't even root for his return because it just seems like freaking hell, like he's back again. And guess what? He's gonna be playing the same freaking character. I told you guys, I do not think this man has range. And just from his appearance on stage, remember Tom Hiddleston was in character as Loki? Well, if that's him being in character as Doom, we are all doomed. We are all in trouble, because I'm telling you, this man does not have the range. He's always playing RDJ. It just so happened that Tony Stark was the perfect match for his personality, but I need to see him completely transform to be convinced that he would make a good Doom, because so far what I'm seeing is just RDJ in green. That's literally all I'm seeing. So I really want him to make the effort to step outside of his comfort zone, because his comfort zone may have worked for him, for Tony Stark and for Oppenheimer, but this time around, this is it, okay? This is the final test. Can you do actoring? Can you give me some actoring to really disappear into the character? Because if not, you got to go. I don't care how big that Marvel paycheck is. RDJ, you gotta move. Because apparently, allegedly, Streets was saying that none other than Oppenheimer himself, none other than Cillian Murphy was up for this role. If that's the case, if they kicked out Cillian Murphy for RDJ as Doom, I will lose my freaking head. Now, it could be that RDJ is portraying a variant of Doom that will only make an appearance in Avengers 5, and maybe we'll get several variants in subsequent films. That could be the case, and then we could still get Cillian Murphy, Cillian Murphy as Doom. Like, if that's the case, there's still hope in the world. If that's I just need to make it to 2028. So, like, I just need to make it to the next Olympics and all will be revealed in the MCU, right? But if that's not the case, and if they actually, you know, stop talks with Cillian Murphy so they could pursue RDJ, I will lose my goddamn mind. I literally will. I would be so pissed off. But those are my thoughts on the RDJ of it all. But lastly, I wanted to dive into my thoughts on what this means for the Avengers franchise and our brand new Avengers in general. Ooh, this lot has been through it. You know, they've gone through a really hard time. It's not a great time to be an Avenger in the MCU, just like it's not a great time to enter the MCU, as Deadpool himself noted. But yeah, this so-called low point has made for quite a few changes to the 5th Avengers movie. With this new change, it seems that Doom will be at the center of it all, with Avengers 5 being renamed Avengers Doomsday. That sounds like a pretty cool title just on its own. So, like, I'm here for it. And it's set to be released in May 2026, which seems like ages away, but it will be just around the corner soon. Like, it'll be just around the corner. And so yeah, I'm still excited as a Marvel fan. I'm still excited to see what the next Avengers movie is going to look like, although what it's going to look like is like the other Avengers movies directed by the Russo brothers. Like, again, they're playing it safe, okay? They're going back to the basics. No more experimentation. No more weird and wacky artistic styles. No Sam Raimi. Not even a Ryan Coogler. Like, whatever. Anyways, we're going back to the basics. Like I said, let's just create a nice crowd pleaser, people pleaser movie that will make us about $1.5 billion. That's probably the actual instruction that Bob Iger sent Kevin Feige in an email on Thursday, and so here we are. But from the Avengers standpoint, I do actually think that this is a good thing for our new Avengers team. I feel like there are so many unknowns in this team because they've been introduced in this rocky time in the MCU. So you have, you know, Black Cap, Sam Wilson, you have Kate Bishop, you might have Moon Knight. I actually don't know who's going to be in the Avengers team. Maybe She-Hulk. So you see how there are some characters who have been in some, you know, less than perfect wavy projects. So I actually think having this kind of surefire attraction like RDJ as Doctor Doom will help the team overall. Because even if you have a whole bunch of sour dude bros who wanted to boycott the 5th Avengers movie because of the new Avengers team, they're going to be seduced into coming back to the cinema to see RDJ's turn as Doctor Doom. So I actually think it's clever to anchor so many unknowns with a ton of knowns in the form of the Russo bros directing and RDJ returning to the franchise, but in this whole new role. So in that sense, I think it's a good decision, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they use him and, more importantly, the new Avengers team. And finally, with the reveal of Avengers Doomsday coming in 2026, they also confirmed that Avengers Secret Wars is coming out in 2027, the following year. I don't know much about Avengers Secret Wars other than the fact that it's supposed to be like a huge Avengers blow up. So I would predict that Avengers Doomsday will have some sort of part 1 ending, just like Infinity War did, and then Avengers Secret War will be like the all-out, you know, battle royale taking place in some arena with like all these multiversal characters, that sort of thing. I wonder if the plans have changed since so many other changes have happened, but that seems to be the main premise of Avengers Secret Wars. I don't know if they confirmed who would be directing that. Is it still the Russo brothers as well, or is it Daniel Cretton? I'm not sure, but yeah, let me know down in the comments if you know. So that's it from me, guys. Now that I've shared my thoughts, my reaction, my feelings to RDJ returning to the MCU, this time as Doctor Doom, it's time for you guys to let me know what you thought of this commotion, what you thought of this mess down in the comments below. Please be sure to subscribe to catch new videos coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.